Hello. How are you? How's it going, everybody? Now, look, before we get started, please drop a number one if you're watching live in the comment section so I know that you can hear me because it is very on brand for me to talk for a long time and have something on mute or whatever. So, please hook me up. Okay. Anyways, we got Indie Girl with that number one. I do appreciate it. And we got Amy. Oh, let's Robin. Oh, it's everybody. Okay. Got it. Cool. Thank y'all so much. If you've followed me for a while, you know there's been times, y'all, where I sit here and talk for 10, 15 minutes. People text me on the phone talking about Paul. We haven't heard anything you said. But I got my game on. I learned to finesse the sofa a little bit. Okay. Anyways, hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope y'all are doing wonderful. Thank you for joining. Now, if you're coming from the main channel, just keep in mind, as I always say, this is the podcast channel. It's a totally separate channel. So make sure to subscribe over here. This channel changes. It just, we basically have it over here to go live from time to time to talk about cases or stuff like this. Recently, it's been once a week, Saturdays usually, I go live. And we talk about like shows like we're getting ready to talk about tonight. Okay, you know what next level shows, so just make sure you're sub to it. That's it. Now I say this sometimes but then I don't do it, but this one legitimately, as soon as I hang up here, I am recording the video for the main channel. So if you're not into live chats, you don't like the vibe of me stopping and talking and all that, I get it. I am going to literally record almost verbatim just me going through my notes about the Natalia Grace thing and have it sent off and put up next week on the channel. So there's that. Anyways, thank you all for joining. First of all, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope that everybody is doing well, that your holidays, if you celebrate holidays, were amazing. That your travels were safe or stay at homes were safe. Whatever you did, I hope that you had fun doing it. I missed seeing y'all for our Saturday chats, but I've been talking to y'all in the different areas on social media and stuff like that. And so yeah. So that being said, y'all, tonight, I don't really know what to say. Whew. Okay, what we're gonna do this is gonna be the layout. We're gonna do, and I'm talking a 60-second, very quick overview for those who have not followed this. Okay, so you kind of know what we're talking about. And then this is literally what I did. I had my phone, it's right here in my hand, and I literally just made bullet point notes as I went through and watched the whole season 2. And we are going to read through those, and we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about it, okay? And so that's that. And then at the end, we're going to talk about, because if you've watched it, now, first of all, also this, spoiler alerts, you're going to be getting spoiler alerts. So if you haven't watched it and you want to not have that, then don't watch this. Hang the phone up right now, whatever you're doing. So just know that, because, excuse me, because if you did watch it, you know there's this big twist at the end. So we're going to go be looking at the social media and whatnot. And I also found this Facebook post that somebody sent me. Yikes. Of course, those are all hearsay and allegedly and stuff like that. So let me pull up my stuff over here and we'll go over it. And I just have to find the right button. I'm sorry. Okay, so where are we at? Untitled, where are we at? Here we go. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Okay, so hold up, Roscoe. Oh, wait, please hold. Let me do my notes. Let me get professional up in here. Good Lord. You think I was reporting from the sofa or something. Lord have mercy. Okay, very quick overview, y'all. Michael and Christine Barnett adopted Natalia Grace, who had a very rare, I'm going to try and say this, y'all, this name, very rare disease named spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia congenita. I'm sorry, I can do the thing, but just right now, while we're just reading through it, that's my best pronunciation. But they soon said that this person whom they thought was a little girl was actually 22, was like a 22-year-old psycho. So they have her re-aged, they drop her off an apartment, and they flee to Canada. Fast forward years later, this documentary comes out. Now, at the time that this went down, authorities were like, they fled to Canada. It was all over the press, right? So they come out with the first season, and this is mostly through the eyes of Michael, yikes, Arama, telling the story. And so we're introduced to this character, Michael, telling the story of this, girl, young woman, young lady, whatever, that they adopted, that they were like, she tried to take our family out. So there's so many questions we had. Well, then season 2 just came out, and it's basically Natalia Speaks, and she's telling her side of the story, and she is here to set the record straight on all the lies and her real age. Okay, so that's literally a nutshell. There's many other layers to it, but if you just want to know a quick synopsis of what this is about, that's it. Okay, um, so that's it. Um, and then, okay, so let me get back to my page. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with episode 1. And y'all, these are just like me quickly typing stuff out. So I'm going to be reading it out loud. So just work with me here. Okay. And I'll stop to read your comments along the way and stuff like that. Cause yikes. Okay. So they do a recap. This is the very first episode when we're starting off. They do a recap, says her past is fuzzy and she wants to know about her past. This is Natalia speaking, and remember, according to Natalia, she was never 22. She was the age, we're going to say give or take, right? So somewhere between 8, 10, somewhere in there. She was a child, okay? And so she came from Ukraine. We'll get into that more, but that's where this fuzziness is and whatnot. Okay, it says Christine and Michael are liars and copied the movie Orphan. I mean, I would definitely, if you've seen Orphan, then you're going to be like, yes, right? Says they tried to kill her. Her new dad is a bishop, the man's family. So what this is talking about is since then she has been readopted by a family, the man's family. The father of the family is a bishop. They seem to have all these other adopted children in the family. There's several of them. We'll talk about that in a minute. She says she is very loved by the whole family, this new family that she has. The mom says when she first came to the family, and this is the new mother speaking here, the mom says when she first came to the family, she was broken because of what other parents did to her. And, it's been like a working with her type thing and all that, right? We'll again get into more of that conversation later. I just want to kind of get this part rolling. Uh, Officer that dealt with her says they just don't believe she was 25 and that she acted like a child. So during the documentary, they're going to speak to different officers and people like that and investigators, FBI agents and whatnot. This one gentleman they speak to is just like, yeah, I mean, we're going over there and there's no way this is a 22-year-old girl woman. Like there's no, like this person acts like a kid, right? And so hearing more behind the scenes from people who dealt with them and people, say professionals, credentialed people, like I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Those people hearing them, I'm like, gotcha. I'm going to kind of believe their word on things. So, Natalia says, yes, I did tell everyone I was 22, but she says she did that because Christine trained her to lie. So one thing the documentary does is, and go ahead, y'all, you already see me. This is the documentary right here. Okay. I forgot I was taking my sip. Okay, one thing the documentary does is they do a very good job at being like, here was this thing that Michael or Christine or whoever said. We're going to go back on video and show you what really happened and whatnot. Okay. So there's that. So with her sitting here saying like, yeah, I did tell everybody I was 22 because Christine told me. I believe a lot of this narrative that Natalia is saying, if you want my like personal opinion on it, I believe much of what she is saying. Now we'll get into my thoughts because my little antenna is up with everybody in this show. Okay. And it could be for no other reason than it's reality TV. You know what I mean? But we'll get into that later. But this whole thing about, well, Christine made me say I was 22 and whatnot. This only would make sense to me because that would help protect them, right? They were trying to form this narrative that this was like a, older person or whatnot. So she's saying, yeah, I did this because I was forced to. And again, remember, from the perspective of a young child who's gone through this trauma and this abuse, you're in survival mode, right? So there's that. She says Christine is a monster and Mike is an accomplice. 100% agree, right? I mean, Michael is next level. If you have not watched this, the father, Michael, that's who we're talking about, and the mother, not her biological ones, and not the new ones, but the evil people, if you will. I've never seen so many personality disorders in one human being. And I'm not, qualified to give that diagnosis out, but I think you can watch him speak for 5 seconds and be like, he's broken, start over. Okay. Anyways, let's keep going. Okay, so she said Christine pepper sprayed her once. And again, when she's describing this, they're showing the pictures of her, like the videotapes and stuff like that, like what Christine filmed and whatnot. And honestly, your heart just kind of breaks because you're looking at it like, look at this scared child, right? Because I do believe that she was a child. Like this, for me, this documentary, if anything from series 2 or season 2, it sealed the deal that I was like, yes, I 100% believe that she was a young person when she was adopted now. It was up in the air before. 100% believe that, which changes my perspective on a lot of things, even though I have red flags going off on other things. But here we go. But so when you're looking at it through the lens of that, as opposed to a conniving 22-year-old trying to take the whole family out, it's heartbreaking. Okay. So pepper sprayed her. She says that Mike and Christine did meet with her last family, the Chaccones. I can't remember their last name. And this is the people that basically passed her off to Christine and Michael. She talks about them in their big house. She says she accidentally broke their son's arm. And when she got in trouble, she told the father she hated him and things totally changed, and then they got rid of her. She was passed around to several homes, but no one wanted her. And then the phone call came, and this was, they found a forever home or whatever with Michael and Christine. And this is the sad thing, because not just with her, but other kids and people in these scenarios, pardon me, of, an adoption and fostering and things like this. You hear this, child comes into the home, something goes wrong. They, nope, you got to go, kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's heartbreaking. So others confirm that yes, the Barnetts did meet the former adoptive parents. Now, Michael will absolutely deny this. He will say they never met him. It was a closed adoption. They were on the other side of the wall. He will deny this up to the last episode in here. But other investigators will be like, look, we have on video, we have proof, we have court documents of they knew the last name of these people. So for them to say we never knew who it was or any of this, and even Natalia will recount seeing them at Disney World while they were still in Florida or wherever doing the adoption. So there's that, kind of here nor there, but whatever. She says it was, hold on. She says it wasn't true that on the first night they adopted her, that they lied, that okay, let me rephrase this. She says it wasn't true. They said on the first night they adopted her, they basically discovered that she had full hair down there, and that it was like how does a young child have this? So she starts recounting just all the lies that they told. Natalia was seen by a doc in 2010. She's estimated to be between 9 to 11 years old. They knew this right away. So again, one thing that's kind of bizarre with this at this point, the fact that, pardon me, like Michael was coming on the show and speaking out and doing this and pardon me, is that they have so much evidence, and even like if it's just verbal of him saying something in season 1, but then he comes back in season 2 and turns his mind around about it. So they're like, we have this on video, so that's kind of bizarre. But if you see him maneuver through the world, you can understand where he probably doesn't know what he said 5 minutes ago, right? This man's kind of squirrely, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so where are we at? But Doc, give me up. Okay, so there's another couple that had a similar condition that she does, and I can't remember if their daughter had it or not, but they had a daughter. The DePauls are their name. They wanted to adopt her, but couldn't because the former approved parents thought they. So the former parents, not the Barnetts, this is when they're trying to find the forever home, and then the Barnetts come along. They wanted to adopt her, but the other parents thought that they filed a CPS report. They said after Christine adopted her, she reached out asking if the DePauls ever questioned her age, and they show photograph evidence of her teeth. So this other couple is sitting here like, we interacted with them. They asked us at this point. We have evidence of, no, this was, I can show you these pictures, boom, boom, boom. Now, one thing in season 1 that this couple will do is they will explain to people who aren't maybe used to seeing a person with this condition, whereas they are obviously, how if you're not used to seeing that, you might misinterpret and be like, that's an older person, because you're not used to the features and things of this nature. But they're like, look, here is absolutely, bam, 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 here's the teeth, kind of a thing. And again, they're just recounting like, yeah, this behavior started coming up. There's already drama with this other family. They think we filed some CPS report, and just really a narrative that goes through whether you believe Natalia, whatever, you don't. Her life has been tumultuous. Her life has been passed around. You know what I'm saying? It's not been pretty. And so for me, this informs us a lot on some, pardon me, on some of the behavior that we see with her. So there's that. Let's keep going. Okay. They talked to a dentist that saw her, and he even said she seemed very articulate for a 7-year-old. He says, he says she still had numerous baby teeth waiting to come out. He says she was around 9 or 8, so again the parents knew. So again, they just are going back over this information of, this is how they knew, this is when they knew, and all these different people who were like, professionals, like, look, here's the x-ray, she's got baby teeth, for God's sakes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is where I was like, oh, question's been answered. You can't deny some of this stuff, right? I mean, you can't, right? So anyways, they do, they do a DNA test, and this is like obviously later or what, and it says that it comes back age appropriate for whatever. Once the gag order is lifted, Mike reaches out to talk to her. So there's a gag order in place. Remember, all these court proceedings are going on. Once that's lifted, he reaches out to talk to Natalia. Now, we're going to get more into that, because I will say this. Keep in mind, this is a reality TV show. They want to get another season out of this, right? So that is woven through this show, okay? It is what it is. Again, doesn't matter how we might feel about, Natalia, heart's broken, or we don't believe her, or whatever your stance is on it. It's a reality TV show. They want to get more content. They're getting their bag, as the kids might say. So that is planned throughout this, because I'm like this. Why on earth would Michael reach out to her? Because I 100% do not believe it's to make amends, right? Now, maybe to cover his butt for lawsuits and to point the public blame onto Christine, because he's definitely trying to save face. But just keep that in mind, because some of this, you are kind of sitting there like, really? Why are you even sitting here? You know what I mean? Like, why are you even putting yourself in this situation? And some of it's to save face, I think, because some of these people probably face backlash after the things they said on season 1, and then it turns out that she was a kid the whole time. I mean, come on. And we'll get into that as I get to the notes. Please hold. Okay. They plan a meeting, and lawyers and TV people are there. It is so awkward and cringe. Now, the first meeting they plan, Michael throws a hissy fit and leaves. And he's like, I can't. I need my water. I need 32 M&Ms in a bowl. Stat. He didn't say that. But, I mean, he's a drama queen, y'all. Okay. Oh, my God. I cannot with them. So, okay, where are we at? They plan a meeting. First grade teacher said she wasn't smart. Okay, this was a good one. The first grade teacher said she wasn't smarter than any other students, but a neighbor said Natalia was reading articles out of Cosmo. Now, they go over this because, remember, Christine will present all this evidence that's like, look, she can read this Cosmo magazine, and look, she's saying she's 22, and look, and she's doing this, and Natalia's going back through and being like, look, she made me do blank, or she came in, she cut my hair and put makeup on and made me do this. I knew how to read this because I had read this before, this kind of a thing. So you hear these discrepancies. If a teacher's coming up in here talking about, I taught this girl, you can tell if somebody's trying to play it off, right? Like they're trying to be like, I can actually read the encyclopedia, but I'm trying to play it off so I can take these people for a ride. She's like, this girl did not present anything that was any smarter or lesser than these other kids in her class, so I'm gonna go with that, right? Okay, the principal at the school said Christine was very tempered. Imagine that. And they heard Natalia's parents were mean to her, so Christine takes her out of school so she could be homeschooled. Again, classic behavior. Christine gives Ruby Frankie to me. Jodi Arias, what's the one who ran away for 3 weeks and abandoned her kids? What's her name? She just got sentenced or something, or got out of prison in a halfway house. The blonde in California. The case was old. Stephanie Papini, Sherry Papini. Is that the name right? You know what I'm talking about. That level is what Christine's given off to me, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, Sherry Papini. Thank you. Okay, so this whole thing, she's controlling the narrative, she's, they're noticing this behavior at school, so we'll take her out of school to homeschool. You think she got homeschooled? Probably not. She says one time Christine pepper sprayed her when she couldn't do a physics paper. Now remember, she spoke of this, and hearing this, it's like, okay, we're up to episode 3 now. Starts off with the aftermath of Mike walking out of the interview and her new father preaching about it. Now, here's my thing, and honestly, we're going to have to drink from the damn cup over this. We're going to get into the opinions in this whole thing with the new father and the mother and the church and the whole thing like that, because there's something that I can't put my finger on about it that doesn't sit right with me. That being said, if Natalia has found peace within in this situation and she is not being exploited, then more power. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and judge, but there's something about it that doesn't feel right. And I, again, don't know what it is. It could simply be trying to keep the reality TV show part going and the little fake acting or whatever. I don't know. But we'll get into the new family, the new parents, and all that in a minute. Okay, where are we at? They show Mike in the deposition. Okay, here we go. They show Mike in a deposition talking about Natalia admitting to having her time of the month and hiding it. He keeps blinking and acting so dramatic and obviously lying. But Natalia says that's disgusting and that Christine made her put a tampon in at age 7, basically hurt her. Therefore, she bled, and Natalia says it hurt and bled, and then Christine's like, see, you had your time of the month. Okay, now, one thing that Natalia was saying here is that Christine said that, now just kind of stay with me here. Natalia says that Christine says that Natalia said, okay, got that? That she ate the excrement so that nobody would know about it. Okay, and then that's what Natalia's saying. Oh my God, that's disgusting, because it is, right? She's acting like, what? And then she's saying that Christine forced her to put one in and then was like, because you're bleeding, there you go, you had this. So, that being said, the stories that Natalia has like this over and over about this bizarre stuff like that Christine would make her do, I don't have a reason to not believe it. Don't have a reason to believe it, but I think there is truth in it, because some of the stuff where they come up with it, it's like, who, and some of it doesn't make sense, because once you look through the lens now of knowing the age and whatnot, this isn't to say people can be anomalies that lie outside that and whatever, but the twistedness of what all went on with her, it's just as simple as re-aging her and abandoning her. This isn't a far cry, right, that she would do this. So there's that. And there's even though Michael is dramatic, and let me go back to this part here, there's parts of his thing, and even one of the detectives, the narrative detective in it, will say at one point, I believe him in this moment here for this. Other times, no, he's blatantly lying. We have evidence. Now, when I said this thing up here, he keeps blinking and closing his eyes. Again, y'all know, if you follow me, I'm not no expert or anything, but I watch these, these body, mannerism shows and whatnot, so, I mean, I read a Google article on it, so I feel qualified. Just joking. But how even when in your real life, when you're talking to somebody and they're blinking and looking away and they won't say anything and they won't make eye contact, and something, your spidey senses are going off and you're like, what's up? He cannot, when I assume is lying, is like fluttering his eyes. He won't look away. And he's like, yes, well, she made her do this, and you're just like, dude, you can't even, lie to the camera. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, They say Christine had to force Natalia to say she was 22, and Natalia says she was so afraid of Christine, she did it. So we're right back to this, where again, this fear. Remember, even if pretend she was 15, you're in a new country, in a new world, you've been passed around, you've had all this stuff done to you. You don't really know, but again, this is a young person. Oh, thanks, Theresa. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you. You're just trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like this, I believe she went along with some of the stuff and did some of the stuff that Christine was building evidence up over, because it's like, I mean, what else are you going to do? Like, and a lot of times you're not thinking that somebody is being this nefarious kind of a thing. So that being said, in court deposition, Mike says Christine was, wait, I'm sorry. In court deposition, Mike says Natalia was beat by Christine, but he didn't stop her. And he will say this a couple of other times, and they'll revisit this about some extreme spankings with belts and whippings, and he went along with it. Mike's story about a lot of this is he basically was a victim of Christine himself. He calls her evil, the evil one, the monster, and he really tries to align himself parallel to Natalia, with both of them being a victim. In fact, one of the episodes is called Trauma Bond, where they actually sit down and they finally sit down and have this meeting, and he really tries to align himself there with that. Now, it would only make sense to do that because he could be facing many lawsuits and many things, because whether he's trying to play it off like I was a victim and had to go along with it, no. Okay, there's so many chances he had to jump off the bandwagon that he never did. And so one of these things is he's speaking on that of the beatings, and he kind of like just watched and went along because she threatened him and this, that, and the other. So please hold. Okay. This is a major one. The coffee poisoning. Now, if you follow this case, at one point, you'll know Christine said that Natalia tried to poison her coffee and tried to take her out that way. So Natalia says what really happens is when Christine walks out of the room, she says Natalia sprayed stuff in the coffee and then made her do it while she was recording it. Old Soul, thank you so much. Absolutely no more wire hangers. Vibes, 100% she is giving these. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, so there was an event that went down, if you haven't watched this, where Christine, like I just said, is saying that Natalia tried to poison her by putting some bleach or chemical in her coffee. Natalia saying that she was helping clean the kitchen, and that basically, like, say the coffee's over here and Natalia needed to wipe the counter down. And so she sprayed some stuff around the counter, like the same area. And Christina come back in and she's like, "What did you do? What did you put in my coffee?" And she's like, "Nothing." And she's like, "Yes, you did. What did you do?" And she gets a camera and she makes her do it again to show what she did. And she's like, "See, you did it." And of course, the kid, Natalia's gonna be sitting here like, "What? Like, why'd you make me do that?" She doesn't know the evidence is being built up. You see what I'm saying? So many instances happen like this, and this sounds more like it. Now, could I see an off the rails kid pouring something in somebody's cup because they absolutely hate them? Sure. You know what I mean? But the story that Natalia says, it seems to sit a little bit more with me. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, Nefertiti. I appreciate it very much. And Emily, thank you so much. And by the way, everybody, give our moderator guru here, Miss Emily, our friend, hello and a welcome. Thank you, Emily. You spoil me. I appreciate you. It was Glade cleaning, by the way. Okay, yeah. So, and it wasn't even like, what's her name? Christine tried to make it out like, she had just gotten the most poisonous thing from the thing. It's like something stupid. You know what I'm saying? Probably what she did, she sprayed it around the counter near the cup, and she was like, oh, thank you, Martha Kelly. I appreciate it. Very much so. Thank you. So that was that. And I tend to side with Natalia on that. Again, we're coming back to just Natalia says Christine copied the orphan. They get this part right here, y'all. Okay, right, y'all. This is where it gets real tumultuous. Okay. Well, it did a while ago, but you know what I'm saying? They get her admitted to a mental hospital, and then they have an emergency hearing to get her re-aged. Thank you again, Martha. I appreciate it. So here's the thing. What happened in the narrative that the narrators and the detectives and all that are forming is that Christine Christine and Michael, but it's allegedly mostly Christine and then Michael by proxy, is forming a narrative to get rid of Natalia in any way possible. This could be through adoption, through re-aging, getting her to a mental ward, death, anything, right? Anything that would not make them publicly look bad. So they, hear all these things like the dentist said this, they said this. They find like a couple of people, like their doctor who they've been friends with for like 20 years, to say that she's this age. So they get her put in a mental ward or, mental hospital, whatever you want to call it. And while she is in there, they quickly go and do the re-aging. And Natalia's side of the story will be like, yeah, one day I was in there and they came and they're like, oh, we have to put you in the adult ward. Y'all, my mouth about hit the damn ground, okay? About hit the damn ground. They put this child in the adult section of the mental institution. And this is where I do believe some more serious abuse took place with her. Can you imagine, number one, how scary it would be to be there, number one, like as a kid, right? And then they put you in with the adults. So while she's in there and they're running tests, they're doing this, they're doing that, the Barnetts are out getting the re-aging and all this happen. She doesn't have a say in it. They don't even see her. They get this done. She gets moved to the adult section. Well, then at the end of this, the hospital comes back and says, guess what? She doesn't have anything. She's none of these things you're saying. We haven't found any mental disorders with her, so she needs to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't the place for her. Very telling, but she comes out to a whole new world because of course the Barnetts at this point are like, well, she's 22. Like, and here's the other thing too. They looked up, and I might have it in here and we can revisit it. There was a very specific reason why they did age 22 and not 21. It was because of something like when you're 22, you're officially something, completely not responsible for they wouldn't be responsible for her and like that. But that will come back to bite them in the butt when they find out something else here in a little bit, and we'll get to it. Okay, so and then Tangi, thank you. I appreciate it very much. So thank you very much. Okay, so a family friend, doc, and a social worker are the only two people who said she was older. Many other doctors said she was not. So remember, this is what I kind of talked about. All the evidence, the baby teeth, that none of that came into play. It was a family friend, doctor, and a social worker, that were the deciding factors that she's 22 years old. Thanks, Wilma. I appreciate it. I would love for Christine to speak out next. My gosh. The mental hospital says nothing is wrong with Natalia. Barnett sent her to a halfway house after. That part got me. And wait, the halfway house, not go and get her to avoid drugs, and then get her an apartment. I don't understand that part why I did that. Oh, thank you, Chrissy. I appreciate it. So I don't understand why I said this part here, but they take her from the hospital and put her in a halfway house. Okay. Now she's talking about people are shooting up and doing crazy stuff. Because remember, she's an adult at this point. You can only imagine what she's exposed to. And so then they get her the apartment. Okay. Oh no, this is what it was. Michael said when they put her in the halfway house, that she starts talking about they got drugs, they're shooting up, they're doing that. And Christine's like, oh my God, we can't have her. She's attached to us. If she sits here and does drugs and gets all cracked out and ODs or something, how's that going to look on us? That was the mentality, allegedly, according to Michael. So do with that what you would do. Okay. So there's that. So a former neighbor at that apartment still says she is lying. It was much older than she claimed. So there's this little I don't know if she was a little old lady, but an older resident of the apartment complex. This is, if you watch season 1, this was very convincing evidence when the neighbors and other people started talking about, here we go with, she's acting this way and that way and blah, 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 blah. Hold on one second. and the neighbor saying that her behavior was this way, and this little old lady saying like, "Oh, she was doing this, and she was talking sex talk, and she was doing this, and blah, 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 blah." Um, you know, so she still claims that, nope, she was that way. And, uh, you know, do I believe that? Knowing the context of looking back and looking at the behavior that's being described, I can see why she did it. Now, I'm not trying to say that it's right, wrong, or indifferent, right? Um, but what I am saying is you can understand, like, if somebody has been exposed to, let's just say, adult things at a very young age and maybe had those, you know, things done to them, they're going to be that way towards other people. So they're going to be saying like basically sexual stuff or doing sexual things that's very inappropriate. And that tells you a lot. Like this person probably had some stuff done to them. So when they started painting that picture out like that, or she was doing this and she was doing that and whatnot, you know, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely don't believe that. Or no, I'm sorry, I don't believe it, but I can see why she was saying that. You know what I'm saying, or doing that, or whatever. So when the little lady's trying to say like, oh, that was because she was really 22 years old and this crazy person or whatever. I don't think it was that reasoning at all. So there's that. Now, on the other note here, former neighbor so yeah, so I don't believe the former neighbor, the little lady. I don't believe that. I think that she's just kind of, mistaken or whatever. Oh, wow. Thank you, Lisa Let. I hope I'm saying your name right. Like Lisa Let Nielsen. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. It's very sweet of you. Thank you so much for being here and supporting the channel. Thank you. Um, Barnett's find out because she's disabled. She is oh, this is the part that bit the Barnetts in the butt, and I loved every second of it. Okay. Barnett's find out because she's disabled, she is dependent and can be on the hook for her forever. So when they have run off to what do you call it? Canada, which there's drama with that. It's really mostly Christine over there because she devises a plot to keep Michael in America. Then she, meaning wait, where'd it go? The Barnett, Natalia, is on her and all that. Well, there's this law that's basically like, look, we don't care. She's 22, 25, or whatever the case may be. She is still, because of her situation, she is dependent, and y'all could be responsible for her forever because the house, one of the apartments that they're putting her in, she doesn't have any assistance. If you watch this, I mean, it's very difficult for her to do basic stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like just basic things of just walking from point A to point B. Bless her heart. You watch her walk and it's exhausting. You know what I'm saying? And so there's that going on the whole time. And so they're just like, leaving her in there. And there's one apartment, the secondary apartment, which they'll revisit. We'll talk about it in a minute. That, I mean, she doesn't even, it's like she has to walk up all these stairs to get her apartment. So, I mean, this is the thing where it's like, forget abandoning a child, which that's what they did, but pretend like for a second she was really 22 or 23 or whatever. You're abandoning a disabled person and putting them in like a dangerous area. So anyways, there's that. Now let's go to the next thing. Oh, so then Natalia talks about the state. So remember, meaning Natalia, they have her at this point thinking like, oh, she has all these, mental disorders and all this stuff. So they have her on all these meds and stuff. So Natalia tells the day that Christine came over and was like, first of all, Natalia gets up, she takes her medication and she says, I then fell asleep and woke back up. Christine's there and she's like, did you take your pills today? And Natalia's like, yeah. She's like, I don't believe you. And she's like, you have to take them again. And Natalia's like, finally like, okay. So she gets her water and whatever. And then she takes the pills, but as she does it, she says that what's her name, Christine, kind of turns, like pretends to do something and then turns back and it's like, what, did you take that pill again? Well, I didn't see you take it. You need to take it again. And she's like, so I took another one, a secondary dose. Now she's making it out like, oh, I've been, what do you call it? Overdosed by these pills and whatnot. Now, I'm not there to say how somebody might feel. I'm not sure what happens when you take a few, extra mental health, or whatever you call like antidepressants, whatever she was on, I don't know. But regardless, she's like, I passed out, I woke up, it messed with me. And so again, just with what they've told of Christine, again, I haven't heard her story. I haven't heard anybody say anything, but I'm like, look, I could see her doing that and being like, maybe like if Christine's thinking I'll OD her, maybe she'll fall down the stairs. Maybe she'll do this or that. You know what I'm saying? She seems like that type person. But again, I don't know. I'm not, I don't know her. I haven't been there. Okay. Then this is one of those cringy things. This is one of those very cringer things. Okay, now hold on one second because Emily is saying, can you put this on subscriber mode only? Yes, I think so. So please hold. Please hold. Everyone, look, please hold. How do I do that, y'all? Do you know? Do y'all know how to do that? Is it in no to sub mode? It's so annoying. Okay. Do we have trolls or something? Is that what's going on? I think I saw something that people talking about a minute ago. Drop it in the comment. Like, tell me how to do that. And we can do that. If there's like trolls attacking the room, we can change it to something. Excuse me. So drop it in there and I'll look back in a second. So we'll keep going for right now. Okay. Okay, so she has this confrontation. She, meaning Natalia, has a confrontation with the former neighbor that lived over there. She used to play with this woman's little girl, and I was like, "Yikes!" And so basically, this neighbor, and the first one was like, "Look, I don't want her playing with my kid anymore because I'm basically believing what Christine is saying." So Natalia has a face-to-face meeting with this neighbor, and it's like, okay, so this is one of those scenarios where I'm like, why, as the neighbor, unless she was trying to save face, would you even like get on the show and do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have this conversation private. Like, why go publicly unless you're trying to save face or whatever? You know what I mean? I ask myself when I'm watching these shows, what I'm saying, these reality shows and whatnot, I'm just like, some of it just doesn't make sense to me. So that's where it gets a self-serving vibe to it, the reality TV show vibe to it. Okay. And so there's that. So where we go, she says to the neighbor, "Why do you believe them?" She says she was afraid. She said Christine overdosed her when she moved into the apartment. So the neighbor's hearing this and it's like, oh my God, oh my God. It is what it is. She said her best friend was ripped from her. So she's talking, this part broke my heart, y'all. She's talking to the neighbor about the daughter. And she's like, what about this? Just like one day I wake up and I can't ever see my friend anymore. It's like my best friend was ripped from me. And again, when you're looking through the lens of like, this is a child saying this, you know what I mean? You're just like, oh my God, how much loss can this kid experience? You know what I'm saying? So there's that. She totally confronts this woman. Natalia has no problem really being like confrontational with these people and like, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you stop? Why did you just readily believe these people? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like, why? Wants to confront Michael, and he says he wants to apologize to her in another world. Okay, so this is another part where they start gathering stuff up or whatever, and Michael's like basically setting the tone. You know what I'm saying? And Michael's like, he says to the camera, "I want to apologize to you, to you." And wait, how did he say it? Hold on, let me go. Where to go? Former neighbor. We already did that. Where to go? Where to go? Where to go? Where to go? Wants to confirm, apologize to her directly and not the world. Well, again, okay, well then call her up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the part. Some of it, it's just so reality TV cheesy. So, want to confront Michael. FBI say evidence shows that there was a plan to get rid of Natalia, and this is what I was talking about kind of throughout, right? Because there's this clear path of like, we're going to try A, B, and C to get rid of her and get her gone. The new mom and her something apartment, and you can tell us. Okay, so the new mother, the woman who, and the mom and dad who just recently adopted her, right? The man's family. Pardon me. it's a scene where the mom takes her to the apartment, and this is the one where she has to walk up the stairs. It's not in a cute part of town, and you're watching Natalia maneuver, and now she has her shoes, her walker, and I'm literally sitting here like, how did she do anything? I wouldn't have left the apartment because she had to go up, I think, 13 stairs or 12 stairs after she went up 3 or 4 cement ones just to get to the house. And she's describing, like, yeah, I would come up here, I'd walk up these 3 stairs to have to open the door because this was not handicap accessible. And they just left her. And she's like, I might have seen them like 3 times after that. I mean, it was bad. And so they take her there. Well, while they're there, you hear gunshots go off in the neighborhood, and you're just like, imagine. I'm like, I'm trying to imagine an 8-year-old by themselves there, thinking, I guess I go to the grocery store now. You know what I mean? Like it blew my mind. And even they were like, okay, we're ready to go. Okay, once Christine gets rid of her, she tells Mike to sell everything and quit his job there and move into Canada. Through fight all the time, and Christine is trying to get rid of him. Okay, y'all, this part right here. If you follow me on Instagram, I put it on Instagram in my reel. In fact, we'll play it. Hold on. Okay, so he's talking about this whole scenario where she's like, okay, bam, she's in the apartment. She calls him up, quit your job, pack the bags, get the kids. We're going to Canada. But they're fighting and all this. Well, she has a plan to also kind of get rid of Michael. And so Michael will also describe scenarios of her gaslighting him when he blows a gasket. She then records and acts all normal. So please hold. Let me get my hold on, where is it? We're gonna look at my Instagram post because it's the perfect moment. Okay, what am I doing? We're going into there and then we're going to Instagram. Please hold. Please continue to hold. Your call is important to us. Could y'all hear that? Could y'all hear that? Could y'all hear that? Could y'all, boys? Dad's going to kill us. I'm like, this dude is absolutely insane. Okay, off the hinges. Okay. Oh wait, let me get back to our little script here. Hold on. I don't know where to go. Hold on. Okay, I might tell the time she beat. My meeting. Hold on now. Please hold. Please hold. See, some of this stuff gets kind of repetitive. Talking about meeting the parents, being allowed to be a kid, power gets shut off. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I mean, yeah, that part. But this is him, and that's a calm moment, right? This is him, though, right? I mean, it's just he is like on something. Okay, y'all. I mean, just riding out something, right? Okay, so anyways, here we go. Okay. Your mom, we did that once. Christine gets rid of her. Okay. Mike does an impersonation of Christine. Boy's dad's going to kill. Okay, so that's what we just watched. Christine records people with phone to make them look guilty and crazy. He says, well, clearly, right? I mean, it wasn't a far cry for him, right? She didn't have to do too much meandering to sell us on that, right? They play phone calls between Christine and Michael, and she's trying to say she's protecting him, but clearly she is working to keep him out of Canada. Basically, she wants Mike to watch Natalia. Picture shown of Natalia, and she is so bruised up. See, like, there's this whole thing of like when she was living in the apartment where, I mean, I don't know if she's falling or passing out or what, but it's absolutely heartbreaking. And so they play these recorded phone calls between Michael and Christine, like I just said. And, she's crying like, oh, it was terrible. She's talking about in relation to the phone call that she played for people. The detective's talking about him talking about, I'm going to kill you. And so she used that as like leverage to get like the kids and all this kind of stuff. I mean, if this is all true, she's very vindictive and manipulative. So Then the power gets shut off for a week. Pardon me. The power gets shut off for a week at Natalia's, and texts between Mike and Christine show all of this is up to Christine, and she is aware of it. So Natalia's like, yeah, the power got shut off for like a week. It was the summertime. All my food went bad, and I'm like, oh my god, like, I mean, my god, this poor girl. And there's text between Michael and what's her name, Christine. They'll show on the screen and stuff that puts up. I mean, it's very clear. You know what I mean? The conversations, and that's why he might want to sit here and try and talk about like, I was a victim, Mom. I was a victim of Christine. But on the same note, it's he knew about so much of this stuff, right? And he was very excited about it. So that's where I'm just like, I'm not buying that. Okay. RJB said, first of all, hello, thank you. That the hot mic between Jacob and Michael said a bunch. Yes, indeed, it did. I think I have a note on that in a second. But yeah, there's a hot mic moment between what's his name, Michael and his son, and the truth lies in what's not spoken, and in between the lies. You know what I'm saying? This is how you have to operate with Michael, at least. So. Hold on. I'm getting to the point where I need my glasses. Hold on. Power gets shut off. Okay. Police start investigating to find out who she was, and she wrote this letter that alludes to being given drugs and waking up in an orphanage. So police, during this is the whole investigation. They're in Canada. What are we doing? Yada, yada, yada. They start looking into who is this girl, right? Like, who is it? It's 22, but they say this, like, what's going on? That starts getting covered. And she writes this letter, and like one of her experiences, like talking about somebody putting something over her face, and then she wakes up, and these are like some memories from Ukraine. And this is what I'm talking about of there's no telling what she went through during those years like that. I have a feeling you can just put two and two together with some of the things that were probably done to her. And so when some of these neighbors talk about, oh, she was trying to talk all sex and this and that, I'm like, this is why, you know what I'm saying? Because she probably had things done to her that she didn't want done to her when she was younger. Probably doesn't even remember some of it, because some of this stuff that we'll hear about in a second, it gets very much sounding like a little bit like human trafficking kind of stuff. At least to me, it did. So let's get to it. So okay, we did that. Talks about meeting new parents and being allowed to be a kid. Okay, so she's now talking about Natalia and how she meets these new parents and man's family, and she's finally able to be a kid and just relax and whatever. Which, if that's all the way it worked out, amen, sister, happy for you. Okay, her birth mother wants to see her, she doesn't want to. So the birth mother is now talking about, I want her to come back over here. Well, of course you do. She's got fame and probably money from that. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to reduce it to that, but I'm just like, why now? And it's basically part of me Natalia's stance on it. Like, I'm good. I have my family here. So talks about the crazy experiences in the Ukraine orphanage. We went over that. Getting adopted by the man's family, changing her name and filing civil suits. So this is where, it's ending out with she's getting adopted by the man. She says the word civil suits, changing her name from Barnett, which I think is amazing. And whatnot. Talking about getting adopted. Okay, so Natalia is meeting with Michael for the second time. Remember, the first time he ran out of the room. Okay, first time he stormed out. She questions him as to why he didn't intervene. He said Christine had worn him down and he had no strength. He says he and Natalia have the same monster. Y'all, this part, if you didn't watch it, if you watch anything, go watch part 6. I think it is. The Trauma Bond is the name of the episode. Y'all, I mean, you literally 100%, you cannot roll your damn eyes hard enough. The way he gaslights, the way he avoids, the way he wants to so desperately be a victim. It's disgusting. Okay. He says her name is Evil, or Wicked Witch of the South, that he calls her. They seem to trauma bond over this. She asks him what he knows that Christine did to her, and he totally dances around the question. Now, this is very obvious. He's not going to want to admit to this because I mean, do the math on that, right? He is trying to avoid lawsuits. He's trying to avoid legal issues. He's not going to come out and say, I knew this and that. And also the public opinion. I'm not sure what he does for money at this point, but if after you get on TV, after you pull a stunt like they did, and then you show out on TV like they did, all you can hope for is in a reality TV show at this point. Okay, that's it. And that's a good day. I can't imagine what he's doing for money. So he's trying to public perception, avoid legal stuff, all that, in my opinion. Okay. She asked him what he knows. Oh, wait, I already said that. He won't answer and says he doesn't want to know. Oh, so this is what he does. When she's like, what do you know? He's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know the horrors of this world. And you're literally sitting here like, and this is where you want to crawl under the sofa. It's so cringy and transparent. It's just like, bro, like seriously, I don't know how the crew kept their faces straight for it. Honestly, I don't. It's that bad. Um, she asked what the conversation was like when dropping her off at the apartment. He says there was a lot of dictating. So, she's like, almost like, again, she goes to all these adults, like, why didn't you do something? Why don't you stop? And a common thread that she's coming at all these people with is that Christine was her tormentor. Now obviously there are levels of accomplices, or however you say that. And so Mike will be a huge one. That was her dad, right? But like with the neighbor and stuff like this. So this is where I feel like the truth is, if you're, again, because I wasn't there, we don't know, we haven't seen any of this, we haven't lived through, I haven't been there. So you have to take bits and pieces and be like, the truth is somewhere in the middle of all this. But what is a common denominator? Where she keeps going back to this whole thing of, and everybody else is still kind of like, if Christine was this nightmare running this household, you know what I'm saying? So that's not to alleviate anybody else from wrongdoing, but there's that. And Squinting Cat, hello, I hope you're well. Squinting Cat says, I would love to hear the opinions of the crew. Let me tell you what, if they put out season 3, Natalia Grace speaks, the crew talks, $100 for the season, I'd save up and buy it. I mean, take my damn money instantaneously. Okay, I put that on layaway, whatever I had to do. They could charge $1,000 for it. I'd be like, Santa, that's what I want for Christmas next year. They've got the tea. Okay, probably locked into NDAs, but you want the truth behind all these people and these characters. Oh, the crew has got it. Okay, the crew has got it. I mean, 100%. Excellent point. Okay, so okay, here we go. Here, this is a good one. Okay, so wait, where is it? Whose idea? This is, remember, Natalia is talking to, what's his name? Michael. Whose idea was the age change? He gets pissed off and it's like, I told you guys I wasn't going into that. And when he comes back, he says, it's too emotional. And you're just like, we know why you don't want to talk about it. Don't do all that extra stuff. Don't come up in here talking about it's too emotional. I can't do it. Hold my hand. Praise Jesus. You're trying to CYA, leave it alone, right? But no, not Michael. So yeah, he's 100% like, and then the narrators come on and they're like, yeah, you know what? Off limit subjects was the re-aging part for obvious reasons, right? I mean, I get it. I want to know too if I was her, right? I desperately would want that answer, but he ain't gonna go there. Then she says, why not just put me back up for adoption? He says it was Evil's fault. Now he calls Christine this the rest of the time, Evil's. It was Evil's fault. He says it was Evil's fault. He says Evil is a narcissist and loves attention and saw the adoption as a good looking thing for her. Now this is where I'm sitting here like, look, here's the thing. You can't, for him to sit here and be talking about this to other people like she's a narcissist and wants attention. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Kettle black. 100% he was down for that too. I mean, when they did this. So, I mean, you can gather up some of his train of thought by what he projects onto Christine. You know what I'm saying? By what he accuses her of. Because he exhibits so much of it in just a 5-second conversation. Okay, so Where is it? He says that she wanted. Ouch. Oh, hold on. I just gotta. Ooh. He says that she wanted to be the Oprah for autistic kids. Why did she take me out of school to protect the other kids? She said the school was complaining about her running over kids with a wheelchair. So she was taken out of school, and you kind of come to this thing of, you know, do, all these different stories collide. Well, he says it was because of this, and she says it was because of this, but it's really because of this, that type thing, right? Um, okay. We're back to the new mother. Hold on, I'm getting a little cramp here. Okay, so the new mom says she's a broken young lady, but a great person. When asked if she's been violent in the new house, dad says in a typical way that kids do. Okay, now this is one thing that I was interested to hear from the new parents say, right? Because, pardon me, because in the first one, and like social media and this and that, I'm like, look, nobody's trying to dress this up. We get it. If you've come from a background like Natalia did, you're going to expect issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, on top of regular kid stuff, you know what I mean? This is expected. I felt so when the new parents started getting into talking about said issues, I was like, okay, this is making more sense, like whatever. Because I felt like for the first season and whatnot, it was so like everything's perfect, and I was like, no, something. They still have that vibe, but they're a little bit more forthcoming. Okay, okay, where was I at? Where was I at? Oh, is she buying the house not any other way than typical kids do? One of the kids say she was bitten by Natalia when Natalia was 10. The Pardon me. The lawyer says, and this is Michael's lawyer speaking, she was taken to the hospital and treated and was told that the mans did not want to bring her back home and that things were not working out. Obviously, that didn't happen. Uh, but they're saying that that's not true either. Lying about meeting her former parents at adoption. Did you remember her hitting me? Okay, we're back to her talking to Michael. Um, there's a confrontation about the lying about meeting the parents at the former adoption, and this is where the narrator will get on and talk about um, we have evidence that they had the name of the people in this document and so on and so forth. Okay. There's that. Did you remember her hitting me and Jacob dropping me? Dad says Jacob is trying to come to terms and he's sorry. Okay. So Jacob is the son of Michael's, and she's saying this and he's like, oh, he's sorry, whatever. Then let's see, a hot Mike. Mike is aware of status of limitations, tells Jacob he's a minor, he was a minor and can't be charged. So there's this hot Mike moment, and Jacob says something like he's nervous about catching charges, and Mike's very like basically this conversation, they are very, very aware of like statute of limitations and oh, you can't be charged and this and that. So when you want to then come back around, this is one part of it. When you want to come back around talking about um well, I didn't know about that. You know what I mean? I didn't know about, oh, what are you talking about? Blah, 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 that kind of a thing. It's like, no, you telling yourself, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of obnoxious. Anyways, Mike tells about a time she beat Natalia in front of her. Wait, hold on. Mike tells about a time she, meaning what's, Christine, beat Natalia in front of him, and he records it to show her, meaning Christine, so she sees how bad it is. He says she caught him and made him delete it. So there's this whole scene, and y'all, this is like he's crying. He's like, I wanted to show her the horrors of the world, and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, so he recorded the beating. And then he was looking at it, and she saw over his shoulder and was like, if you don't delete that, you'll never see your kids again. And so he had to get rid of all the evidence again and drinketh from the damn cuppeth. I mean, come on, right? Okay, so hold on one second. Mike tells the time she beat it. Okay, we did that. Christine made Natalia. Okay, this part right here, y'all, I was like, what? Okay, so Natalia said that Christine made her stand in the window like a gnome. Like, this is what she told her. Like, I want you to stand there like a gnome with an apple and put her in a pink dress. You know, those garden gnomes? And she's like, I had to stand there. And she's like, neighbor saw and didn't do anything. And she was standing there with an apple like this or something crazy over some dumb stuff, right? But even if it was like a worthy, like, say it's like the child did something where they need to be punished, who comes up with that? Who does that? Stand in the window like a damn gnome. I mean, Jesus. I mean, come on. Then Christine did not respond to producers. I mean, would you? You know what I'm saying? Honey, I, I would literally be like on some island if I was her, that anyone would be like, we've never even knew that was part of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be eating palm trees for nutrients. You'd never see me again, is what I'm getting at. Never see me again if I was her. And Michael too. The fact that he got on TV says all you need to know. Anyways, Mike's attorney brings up Natalia's sexual advances towards others and the documentation of it. She's propositioning men at the mental place for sex. She says she doesn't remember and was a kid in an adult section of the hospital. Hold on. Her new dad says the docs couldn't find anything wrong with her. This is talking about when she was at the hospital. We already covered that. Natalia says she felt like she was exposed to sexual stuff at a young age and that Christine tried to set her up on a date with a grown man when she was 7. We'll talk about this in a second. Says she was exposed to sex stuff in the apartment and that Christine never taught her to take care of herself. So remember, so there was, okay, I don't know if y'all remember or we haven't talked about it, but in one of the apartments with a little lady that was like, I still think she's a kid, an adult, there was a dude there, like, kind of, to me, it sounded like, and even the old lady said that he was a dirty old man. It sounded like, you know, a you know what file, live in this apartment complex. And this is the part that you're like, oh my God. And this little kid has been left in this apartment. This is what happens, right? This is how this stuff. So she was like going to his apartment and staying there for a long time. I think there's still a lot of stuff that Natalia doesn't want to say happened to her or that she experienced out of shame, out of not, you know, just all the stuff, right, from being victimized by these people. And so some of her behavior, I think, comes off as like, or like, what's up? Number one, trauma, obviously, but because also there's probably stuff going in here that she can't like, I don't want to talk about that, you know what I'm saying? And I get that, because some of the things that they were talking about, like her going to this dude's apartment and stuff, I'm like, God knows what he did to her. I mean, she's talking about he was showing her these certain kinds of movies in there. You can only imagine, you know, I mean, this is a very vulnerable human being, child, being thrown into the world, so you can only imagine the stuff that probably took place to her. Talks about Chris. Okay, so we'll get back to this part. Let's read this part and then we'll revisit for a second, right? Okay, talks about Christine cutting her hair off and putting makeup on her. Then she talks about her trying to set her up on a date. So at one point she's like, Christine basically walks in the kitchen and cuts my hair off and puts makeup on me like I was an adult and is trying to set me up on some date with some adult dude. Okay, now remember, I don't know if you remember, there was a dude with the, I don't know if he has the same complex as Natalia, but he's like a grown adult who he said that Christine was like propositioning him to like hook up with him, like with her. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here, y'all. But, and I can't remember if he was the one that was like, he had issues with, he had done some bad things with kids at some point, or you underage, or I can't remember. There's something like that. What's her name? Natalia is showing pictures of this picture, like, see, like, that's extra, like, why do all this? Michael's lawyer is saying Natalia will turn anything into drama and make it sound nefarious. Pardon me. Just like this is a mother wanting to play dress up with her daughter, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. I do not think Christine looked at her as a daughter ever one day, right? Certainly not to play dress up. There was a reason she did that. And she probably could have been like talking about, I'm going to do this to make the 22-year-old thing, you know, whatever thing. Bye, Anna. Have a good evening. And Karen says, didn't Christine end up hooking up where cheating on her husband with a little person? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, anyways, so let's keep going. Okay, they revisit the accusations made against him. Christine tells the other dude about Mike and Natalia. hooking. Oh, okay. So at the very end of season one, if you watched it, they're like, "This is the big plot twist," and like, "Michael, we really need to show you something." And he's like, "I'm not gonna look at it, but I'll hold the screen." And basically, it's that dude talking about Christine told him that she found out that Natalia and Michael were messing around. And he, of course, he flips out and he's like, "Oh my God, I, can't, whatever." And so they revisit this. Um, Both he and Natalia are like, absolutely not, disgusting. No, didn't happen. He talks about pepper spray, and Mike denies he knew about that, but they have him on video admitting he knew. This is one of the things. Okay, so again, I know I've brought this up several times, but she talks to him about the pepper spray, and he acts like, "I never knew. I don't want to know the horrors." Well, then they're like, "Well, let's just go roll this damn tape back." And I mean, this is plain as damn day, but y'all, you've seen him. He can't remember what he said 5 seconds ago, let alone a year. You know what I mean? Like, you would think he would watch the show to track the lies or whatever, but no. It's talking about he didn't know, where they have him on video talking about the pepper spray canister. Okay, shows interview with FBI and Natalia when she was a kid, and she admits to lashing out and hiding knives. Okay, hold on, let me grab. Please hold, please hold, please hold, please hold. Roscoe, please entertain everybody. See, okay, Dad, I'm entertaining. Okay, sorry, I had to get my soda. I'm out of my coffee. I'm starting to yawn. Okay, shows interview. Okay, so yeah, there's a thing that they're showing where the FBI, like, who interviews kids and stuff like that, is talking to her, and she's like, "Yes, I did lash out. Yes, I hid knives and things of this nature." Now, in another scene, she's talking about this whole thing where Michael's talking about her standing at the bed with a knife, and she's like, "I can't even hold a knife, let alone when I'm sitting at the bed. The bed is taller than she was. You know what I'm saying?" So she's like, this whole way he's describing this wouldn't have even happened. Um, and this is part of the show where they're trying to make it look like, but maybe she is a killer. You know, if she's hiding knives, stuff like that. Again, I just kind of come back to, what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I just, what do you expect? This is not shocking to me at all if she did this. Now, if it was like, oh, all of our household pets turned up dead, okay, yes, this would be like, yikes. You know what I'm saying? We've got an issue here, but we didn't have that. Okay. Okay. Where are we at? Show's interview. Reactive attachment disorder is what she's diagnosed with. New parents say they've corrected her and she's never harmed them. So basically, like, when you get down to like, well, what's your household like? And they're like, it's, yeah, she's a broken person. She's learning every day, but, you know, she ain't pulling a knife on us. You know what I'm saying? They're like, she ain't doing A, B, and C and this crazy stuff. Like, we're hearing from here, there, and everywhere. Um, so it is what it is. Mentally blocked out. She says that she's mentally blocked out Ukraine, possible trafficking. And I just put that in there because we kind of all talked about it, a second ago, but just some of the descriptions of this and the things she went through. And, somebody put something over my face and I passed out and then woke up. And then, this person was doing this to me. And I'm like, yikes, because again, incredibly vulnerable person being passed around. Right. I mean, just it's so heartbreaking. Okay, hold on. Mike says Christine convinced the boys that Mike was crazy and would kill them. She ends up taking the kids. Okay, we kind of talked about this earlier. Mike says Christine convinced the boys that she was crazy and would kill them. She ends up taking the kids. Mike can cry. Okay, this is just a note for myself. Mike can cry on command. The cringe is so painful. She has to comfort him, forgives him, and prays for him. Y'all, at one point during this conversation with Natalia, he starts crying and going off so bad. She has to hop down off the chair and go comfort his sorry butt. And then she's praying for him, which, I mean, thank you for that, okay? Because God knows he needs okay, I mean, I hope she said a good one, because Lord knows something needs to touch him. But she has to hop down and comfort him. And I'm like, this is the part where if I was the crew, you could probably hear the collective sigh going on. And they're like, oh my God, really? Seriously, you know what I'm saying? She says she wishes she could have talked about reading, but she's glad he apologized. Oh, she was so during the thing when she's talking about her vibe and all that, like how to go. She's like, I wish we could have talked about the re-aging, but I'm glad he apologized. So, hey, maybe if she has that, cool, right? Adoption day comes up. She's incredibly excited, all smiles. At adoption, the judge says she's legally 33, but really she's 19. It's very emotional. Okay, here we go. We're getting to the end here, y'all. 2 weeks later after the adoption, the producers get a shocking phone call. Now, here's the thing, y'all. This is spoiler alert if you don't want to hear it. Go on. 2 days. I'm going to quote Antoine, the father of the bishop. 2 days, something ain't right. She's tweaking. She's the enemy in the house. Family saying that she's holding them hostage, has no emotions but for herself, all over a lie. They are done with her, so on and so forth. And then it ends there. It says Natalia's story is going to continue. Now, that being said, you can go to her social media. In fact, we're going to do this. Hold on. This. How do I get out of here? You can go to social media. Now, you know how some of these things do, like reality shows, like they don't want the people like posting or doing stuff on their social media, like, when it's going on, whatever. So, keep that in mind. We need to watch this. I can't. Did y'all hear that? She spins, turns to the boys in the backseat. Boys, Dad's gonna kill all of us. It's okay. I'm gonna protect you. Every day, as they would tell them. Imagine somebody having this conversation like on the bus with you, like talking about what happened last night. It's this Michael Barnett doing that right there. I'd be pulling that bus string. I'd be talking about, get me off this damn bus. I will walk. Okay. But I digress. Let's go look up their social media. Okay. So hold on. Okay. Where we go? How do we do it? The man's family. Okay. So if you want to follow them, first of all, well, it's the man's family 11 on Instagram. So this post is from, and let me tell you what, the comment section is amazing. Just for that, go to it. Okay. This is from November 23rd. So obviously a minute ago. Happy Thanksgiving. I can't really do it, but she's in the very front. There's the whole family all there. So there's that. Then we're going to go to her personal. Where'd she go? Natalia. Here's another one. Huh? Y'all. I can't. I cannot. Okay. It's too much for me. Hold on. I'm trying to get to her account and I don't know why I had it in here. Okay. So Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Oh, wait, maybe it's on, wait, it's on TikTok. Hold on. Let's go over there. Hold on. Y'all need to grab your. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's on TikTok. Here we go. Okay, so it's Nat Grace 20 on her TikTok. Thank you, Squinting Cat. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, so that's her thing on there. So 6 hours ago, she posted just like a little thing here.
Hey guys, I just wanted to come on here real quick and tell you guys Happy New Year! It's officially 2024, guys. I know some of you guys were
Can y'all hear that?
back in 2023, but don't worry, I'll do soon. I love you guys so much. I'm about to head to bed now. I'm tired.
Dear 20. So there's that. Now, oh wait, I just flipped away from that. So anyway, there's stuff on here like this. So they seem to be, I think that this was basically a clout chasing kind of a thing at the end of it. I don't think that really happened. I think it was reality TV drama, that kind of a thing. Now, y'all, this one we're about to go over. First of all, we're talking, hold on. Okay. This was sent to me. This is in one of the Facebook groups. Y'all, we are going down speculation street. We are going down allegedly street. We are going down secondhand information street. All that, okay? It's a Facebook group, so do with that what you will. This is, I'm going to read it because it's too much. The Curious Case. This is posted by there. I'm just doing citation work here, okay? This is this person's post. Now, again, we don't know if this is true. They could just be making this up. Honestly, I don't think Natalia moved out. And this is them talking about the Indian and all this type of stuff, right? It's to get attention and make more money off of this. But anyway, I know Natalia Cynthia and her husband personally. Natalia, okay, so I'm sorry. I know Natalia Cynthia, oh my gosh, Cynthia and her husband personally. Cynthia babysitting my son for over a year before I found out about the abuse that was going on in their household. Cynthia and her husband are very controlling and abusive physically and mentally. Natalia was more like a maid to them. She cooked, she cleaned, did pretty much everything around the house. I lived just a few blocks from them until they moved here recently. They have around 9 kids in their care. It's all about getting money from the state for having kids there with them. They've never worked in a long time, not since I've known them. I've known them since 2018. They adopt kids or foster kids so they can get checks. That's their hustle. She abused my son at a young age. Till I finally figured out what was going till I finally figured out what was going on. She would make him stand in the corner and wouldn't let him go to the bathroom, so he would pee all over himself. He was 3 years old at the time. Found out that she smacked him. It's a long story. I called DC on her and her husband. They care about nothing but the money because they have no other source of income. Before they moved, they had 9 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment that's connected to a church. Her husband was the bishop at that church until he got in trouble for using donations for personal use. Don't let them fool you. They are just as bad or worse as the Barnetts. So, I mean, there's that. Again, this is allegedly? I don't know. I'm not there. But, here's my thing. So let's just kind of recap. Do I think that she was a kid when they abandoned her? Yes. I think for me, the show proved that through the dental stuff, through all this kind of stuff, right? I'm like, she was a kid, right? For me, there's no denying that. Give or take whatever the years are, but she was a kid, right? So, Roscoe. Do I think everybody has some form of a motive in the show? Yes. It could be money, it could be clout, it could be getting answers, it could be saving face, it could be trying to launch a reality TV career, it could be all those things. You know what I'm saying? And I speak on that to everyone involved, right? Now, with what's her name, Natalia, I think that because of looking at it through the lens of, okay, she really was a kid, so now I have to reconfigure all my thought processes on her behavior and this and that and the other. I think she has been abused in every possible way one can be abused from a very young age, and this accounts for a lot of her bizarre behavior that she was doing, does, whatever the case may be. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's where I think it comes from. Now, when you get into situations like, okay, she's with this new couple and blah, 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 and they're doing this, I hope that she is not being exploited. If she has found a scenario that she feels and feels like she has found love and she's not being abused or exploited, but like say we might be able to look at it and be like, girl, why they got you cleaning that place? You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever the case is, then, you know, if she, basically what I'm getting at is if she's happy and safe, great. You know what I mean? Um, More power to her. Happy that she could find that. Um, the Barnetts, like Michael and what's her name, Christine. I mean, I think Michael is just off the hinges, right? I think he's trying to save face. I think he's trying to do, a lot of different things. Big time trying to save face in lawsuits. Um, and just he loves the attention, like, getting in front of these cameras and doing all this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Um, So, Christine, I think probably I mean, how are you can't get in front of a camera if you're her and try and say anything. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. So, pardon me. you know, the new family, do I think that there could be nefarious things going on there? I don't know enough about it to really form an opinion. I can't, something feels fake, but I don't know 100% how to really put my thumb on that. Now, like this person here talking about, again, this is Facebook, the thing I just read, if you've been listening. We don't know this person. You know what I'm saying? There's other things, like if you do some little dives on the internet, go to the bowels of Reddit, this kind of stuff, you're going to see some stuff like this come up. But again, I would, unless you're there in the situation looking at it, I think time, then you would know, right? I think time will tell. Time usually will always bring to the surface something. The whole phone call thing at the end from her or the dad, she's tweaking, she's this and that, blah, 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 blah. We're done with her. I just think that that was a way to keep it going. You know what I mean? They want a season 3. And here's my thing. I'm like this with Natalia. I'm like, if she's not being harmed and if she's happy, and even though it might not be to our measure of like whatever, get a season 3, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you got to do. Go for it. Go for it. Do it. I hope she's not being exploited by anybody else in these scenarios. Like, I hope this family is authentic and not exploiting her, is what I'm getting at. Because my red flag is up with that. But, pardon me. um you got to remember that she is in a situation where she's a hot topic, she's a commodity, she can make people money and clout, and so you know what I'm saying, that's where my red flag goes up of you really need to vet these situations and motivations out from other people. But again, she looked so happy on adoption day, and again, her version, like the evidence presented, all that we know, all that I know from the evidence presented and what we've seen is that she has just been, rejected and thrown away and trashed and all this. So she's find some people that seemingly in her world care for her. Of course she's going to be happy, she's going to be wanted. You know what I'm saying? um So it's a lot. It's a lot. So this is what would interest me in season 3. Obviously, if the crew talked, come on, right? That's the only thing we can't get right. Um, but shy of the crew talking, I almost would want to say I would watch a couple of episodes if they did the showed Natalia's daily life with the new family, because very quickly you would be able to put, I feel like if we could get more context and textures and layers of her living situation with them, I could put my thumb on what doesn't feel right and what feels right. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I need more of the vibe, because you don't see a lot of interaction between all of them. And I get, I want to have the kids, but like the mom and the dad and her on there, it's either the mom and her, the dad and her, that kind of a thing. Obviously, if Christine sat in front of a camera for season 3 to tell her side, would be glued to it. Let's be honest, I would be glued to that. Um, so that I would probably watch the whole thing. If I could, like, if they were like, "Hey, we got 6 episodes of Natalia living her daily life with the Mans," I'd get maybe 1 or 2 episodes in, unless it was like really gripping, But outside that, I'd be like, you know, okay, here we go, kind of a thing. My biggest thing was getting the answer to what was her age. Now that I have that, I'm like, okay, you know, as a curious onlooker, you know what I'm saying? Somebody who's not emotionally invested in the case, other than wanting like a good outcome for those who need that and justice for where it needs to come in. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah. Um, so there's that. I mean, it is what it is. Um, I just, I'm still PTSDing over Michael. I just, that kind of cringe. You're never prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're like, I'm trying to like watch, like laying in bed and pausing and making notes, and I'm just like, I can't. Like, this guy really, really bothers me on like a spiritually deep level. Like, my soul rejects his presence. You know what I'm saying? Through the TV. I can't imagine what kind of energy he gives off sitting across from him. You know what I'm saying? Um, okay, I'm just kind of reading comments for a second. Anyone notice a new mom of the adoption age? To me, she didn't seem too excited. Antoine hugged and diamond. Yeah, there's like Martha, and I agree. There's some, I can't put my finger on it. I can't put my finger on it. That's why I almost am like, I need to see like a day in the life. And it could even be like just those little nuances, like the thing you just noticed, like, well, he came over first and she didn't do this, or whatever the case may be. Um, so I don't know exactly. Well, yeah, I think she's 22. Yeah, I think she's actually 22 now. Um, my soul rejects his presence. I mean, seriously. My soul's like, get it out of here. Get him out of here. So, yeah, yeah, anyway. So, that being said, couple of things. First of all, tomorrow on the main channel, my video, meet your local vehicle vigilante, the trial against Hannah Payne, will come out. It's like an hour and a half. That'll be in the morning time. So that's on the other channel. Make sure you're sub to that. Next Saturday, what I would like to do is, now I want to watch the Casey Anthony lie detector thing. Spoiler alert, I already know they passed it or whatever. But I want to watch that, and maybe we'll talk about that next Saturday for our next thing. Because obviously I just want to see the nuances of that. So, uh, what else? There's something else I wanted to tell y'all. What was it? There's that. What is another case thing that I was sitting here thinking about? Hannah Payne. See, now I'm tired and I can't remember. I don't know. But the Hannah Payne video tomorrow. Next Saturday we'll shoot for although I think I work late Saturday. I'll see. I'll post it during the week. I always post it later or whatever. But the Casey Anthony thing we'll do sometime next weekend or whatever. Anyways, and that's kind of it. So, oh God, Gypsy Rose. Yes, thank you, Tangy D. Okay, we can kind of change gears for a second, because I would like to do, maybe that's what we'll do, as a live chat on that too. There's a couple live chats. Maybe we need to give Gypsy Rose a couple more weeks to see what plays out. Okay, because I feel like we're like, this is getting, it's becoming so huge, and I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna end. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what I mean by that. it's just like literally the comment sections on TikTok where people will be like, "Look, I'm not trying to be a certain way, but do they do this for everybody?" Like people who aren't from here, they're like, "Do people do this for everybody that gets out of prison in America? Is this like a normal thing?" And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not." And I'm like, torn about it because in her interview where she's basically like, "Well, when I got to prison, it was like or jail wherever." The first day, it was like that was my first taste of freedom. And it's sad, you know what I'm saying? Because 100% I mean, my God, she got put through it. But the instant amount of fame, like I'm trying to wrap my mind around her being tortured by her mother for all those years and living through that, getting sent to jail, then prison, coming out of that to instant celebrity, which she already was gaining that celebrity. I mean, the God Sakes, there's TV shows on her and stuff like that. Instant celebrity, which would be weird for anybody to go viral, if you will, but this is a little bit beyond viral. You know what I'm saying? Um, while adjusting to being free, this is her first taste of true freedom. You know what I'm saying? From her mother. Or again, she talks about her mother being worse than prison, which I mean, I think if you follow the case, you know what I'm saying? So switching, from that level of incarceration to prison, which was freedom, and now true freedom, you know, and this is where I'm like, oh God, this is oh my gosh, she's doing. When I saw her like on daytime talk shows, I'm like, how long has she been out of prison? Can you imagine being locked up for whatever 8 years and coming out and doing the talk show circuit? And you've never done that, like you're not a celebrity, like you're just a regular person that is just kind of you're infamous now. I so that's where I'm kind of just sitting back and just kind of watching, like, okay, let's see, where does this go, so I mean, obviously I hope that it's like she gets the healing and all that kind of stuff that she needs, but I just think it's a lot is what I'm getting at. I haven't looked into the husband that much yet. I mean, I've seen a bunch of TikToks talking about he looks just like her mother. I don't know the dynamics. I've seen some TikToks talking about like, oh wait, her. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to even speak on it. So I'm sitting back. So what we're definitely going to talk about at some point, whether we do the Casey Anthony next weekend or Gypsy Rose, we'll see. But again, I can't imagine going through her experiences and come out and being thrust out on a platform. I get you're wanting to make money and get a career going, and you need to, while the lightning's like cracking, you need to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, got it. You know what I mean? That's why, like with Natalia, I'm like, girl, do your season 3 if you need to. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you got to do. Like, I get it. Um, might not watch it. Might not read Gypsy's book, but you can. I get it. But again, I'm just kind of sitting back, like, let's just see what happens. I'm just waiting for something next level to come out. Like Gypsy's getting divorced, or you know what I'm saying? Not that I wish that, but it's that. So anyways, so that's it. Thank y'all for hanging out. I'm gonna go. I'm tired. I've been up since 2. I had a big day running around doing stuff, working, all that fun stuff. So thank y'all for being here, and thank everyone. Give Emily a round of applause. I greatly appreciate you, Emily, especially whatever trolls you were throwing out of the room left and right earlier. I do appreciate you. Um, and oh, where is Casey Anthony? Where can you watch that at? Let's look real quick, y'all. Yeah, it doesn't hold on. The Casey Anthony lie detect. Yeah. Casey Anthony's parents take a live Fox. Let's see. Where to watch. How to stream. Sling, Direct TV. So this is saying Philo, Sling, and Direct TV. But I would think it'd be on Prime now. What do y'all think? Has anybody watched it anywhere else, whatever, HBO or Paramount. I'll look on Prime, A&E. Okay. So yeah, and thank you everybody for the super chats. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for hanging out. This is fun. I'm gonna take a few minutes and then record the whatever version of it for the other channel. So that's it. Thank you. I love y'all. I hope you're doing well. Roscoe's been he has been sitting here very quiet. Say thanks. He's been a very sleepy boy, but he does say hello. He says throw some sofas down there for him. Yeah, he does. He's just a little old man. Anyways, um, it's an ID channel. The Casey Anthony doc is an ID channel. Okay. Lifetime Network. Okay, so that's up. Good night, everybody. Good night, Emily. Good night, Christy. Or Chrissy, I'm sorry, I read your name wrong again. And Martha. And Angela. And Raw. Anyways, that's it. I hope everybody's doing well. Thanks again for joining. I will be talking to y'all in the comment section tomorrow morning.